Howdy, Friars. Welcome to the demo day on July the 30th now. It's going to be a pretty quick one. We're just going to show off the latest issues that or the improvements in Permapost, which are many minor quality of life things, kind of giving it a haircut here and there and a fresh shave in preparation for the exposure we're trying to get. I'll actually talk a little bit about that exposure, what we're doing there as well. And then we'll talk about the DETH contract ads, what the status of that is, and then Sculp's going to share a bit about the progress, and we're going to talk a little bit through how the generalized long short product is going to be designed, which takes DETH, which DETH is just long ether, and kind of generalizes it. You can long anything against anything else, that's as long as the things are on Aave. So, okay, let me go ahead and start sharing and show you what's new. Okay. I'm just going to go through these done tickets here. Stuck support link to compose page. If I go to get started here, we just have this up here, just in case someone comes here and they don't get through the barriers to entry of posting, because it does, you'll need MetaMask, and if they don't have that installed, they might get confused. So anyway, that just starts an email to us. Only show MetaMask required modal after user selects blockchain. So I'm actually on this on a demo tab, but if I just go to a guest here to show this off, because this was a sort of a problem for a while. If I go to Permapost and then I click get started, this comes up, but now I can exit out of that, and I used to not be able to. So that's that change there. It doesn't get you stuck in there, and then you can look around here, look at this post, whatever. DETH logo to the landing page, that's actually on the DETH. We just put that logo up here as the header for the DETH landing page. Stock image as well. Similarly, we put this image here instead of that stock image was there. We're going to do the same thing with the Permapost landing page too. Put this there, it just hasn't gotten there yet. Call to action buttons, that must have been on, okay, that must have just been on this landing page. This landing page itself, I should slow down. This lever.ly, this is new since the last time we did as well. So this is actually up. This is what we're pointing the Brave ads to, which I'll talk more about later. Okay, max post length, that was for Permapost. It turns out that, hold on, let me stop sharing for just a second and grab that long post. Okay, back to sharing now. So this was the longest post I was able to post. If you look at the scroll bar there, you can see it's pretty freaking huge. So you can definitely put, maybe not a whole book on Permapost, but probably chapters to a book. So that's pretty cool. I actually didn't think it was that big. So, and that should be the same across on Ethereum too, but I didn't test it specifically.
One of the many of the great works of the past were published as serials in newspapers and in various publications.
Oh, nice.
So I think once I'd like to live to 300 to see what the first classic was posted to the blockchain.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Well, there's already text on there even before there were tools on that, by the way. I built a little script, must have been a couple of years ago, that just scanned the blockchain for English text or human readable language. And there was some cool stuff on there, a little bit of poetry even. When one guy was waxing poetic about how, of course, back then you could spend, it was like less than a cent to post poetry on Ethereum blockchain and cemented in history forever, which is pretty cool. I think you could probably make a cool book if you just basically did that scan, manually filtered out all the false positives of things that aren't human text, and then maybe got rid of the lame stuff too. Just put together a book that was literally just like, here's the stuff that's on the Ethereum blockchain. Like, that could be pretty cool. Maybe you could have the chapters, and they would list how, what the gas price is. And the beginning of the book would be like nothing, and then the end of the book would be like, this one cost $300 to put up or whatever. Yeah. Anyway, so okay, back to the demo here. So I researched that, and we also we haven't done it yet, but then that's going to turn into, I think, later this or earlier next week. If you go to Compose and you have something longer than that monster post, it'll give you a little error and grab the post button, which is just a friendlier way of it failing, as opposed to if you do that, if you go try to put in a 1,000,000 character post now, it'll just give you an obscure MetaMask error that's related to the max block size that will not be clear to regular users. let's see, replace perma-post landing page content. Oh, that must have been quite early last week because yeah, we just have the perma-post landing page. And that's been updated for quite some time, it feels like. Link back to landing page, just so like when you're on the app here, you have these two app buttons, you have these dev links, and then you can also just click this to go back to the landing page. Let's see, compose, post, remove, copy paragraphs. So that is, if I go now back to perma-post, basically there used to be a lot of stuff up here that kind of distracted the user journey, talking about like, if you want to view a post, go here. If you want to see an example post, blah, blah, blah. We just took all that out. With some sort of casual user testing, it just seemed distracting. So this just gets right to the business of the form. And then similarly, let's see, somewhere here, oh, it's maybe not through yet. We're going to do something similar with all this stuff. So this is actually, probably by the end of today, this will actually be updated. This will all be gone so that when you go and look at a post, it's more properly like this, where the post is the main, the main feature. We don't know all this front matter. So that will be, this will all be removed. This will all be condensed into a single line. But yeah, so that's not live yet, but it should be very soon. Let's see here. We just made the text bigger. We really are targeting Medium. If I just go to Skulk's Medium post, I don't have it on this browser easily. Let me see if I can just click somewhere.
Just open up any of those things that explain white fragility to us.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Well, unfortunately, it's not on white fragility, but you can see we're targeting sort of the font size. Also, if I just make this window bigger for a little bit, also the sort of the width of the article itself. There's still some tweaks we can get, but we're really trying to target what Medium has done in whatever legally compliant way we can, just for the sake of this recording. But yeah, the last thing we want to do is look at what font they're using and use something similar. Yeah, I think Medium has gone a long way to iterating towards sort of an ideal form of Medium, or sorry, of posts. It was hard for me to say post and not Medium post because that's how much they've succeeded. Like Medium post is kind of this standard of, if you want to write an article easily and make it look good and neutral, I think you put it on Medium. And so as I was telling,
as long as it isn't actually neutral. It has to be very, very heavily left-leaning, or
yes,
something that they don't understand to be,
exactly,
Nazi dog whistling, which is everything else.
Right. That's right. That's right. Yeah. So basically, I was telling Lo earlier that if we can nail, because there are other apps out there that are doing what perma-post do, sort of. There are apps out there that let you put your stuff on the blockchain. But I have yet to find one that really does what we're going for here, which is like, if we can nail this, if we can basically we can make it so that anybody who wants to have uncensorable content, like an article, they'll come to perma-post simply because their content looks the best on perma-post. If we can nail that and we can market that, I think that's a great way to win. And we're already, I think we're already very close to that. So anyway, that's just some insight into how we're sort of designing this. But okay, let me get back to this stuff. Oh, dev links. Yeah, the dev links up here, source code and the 2 contracts, just so people can more easily fork this stuff. Oh yeah, link after post, discuss on smoke signal. So this is just, we're going to remove the topic thing here because that's not really relevant to perma-post, but yeah, just this button here. So if you've read, this article and you really agree that, cancel culture will defeat, or the fringe will defeat cancel culture and all that stuff, and then you can discuss this on smoke signal. That will bring you to smoke signal where there are
sorry,
comments.
Does everything now have a discuss on smoke signal
Yes.
link?
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, cool.
And in the future, we might say like there's 7, we might also say 77 comments on smoke signal, whatever. We don't want to put the comments directly on the article because, smoke signal, I would say smoke signal's role is to be sort of this uncontrolled Wild West of information. Oh, it looks like there aren't any replies on this anyway. And we don't want perma-post to be that. Uncensorable, yes. But what we really want perma-post is we want it to be the author's haven. So you want to go to post on perma-post, you don't want really there to be a possibility that someone's going to post like, text porn or whatever, like who knows. Maybe in the future we might allow the author the ability to whitelist comments so that there are comments here, but we still maintain sort of that valuing of the author as the primary consumer in some way, primary user, customer. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah. And then the last thing is a share post button. So this is just, you could have already taken the URL and shared it around, but this share post just makes it easy. Link copied, then you can paste that to somebody and they can go look at the post. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's it. There's still.
I do want to note that we might even want to remove the discuss on Smoke Signal, given the point you just made about it being the author's haven. Because the thing is, basically, he might want to post there, and if people want to reply on Smoke Signal, that's a separate issue.
Yeah.
We might want to separate those two very strongly. And just a question though, what's the status of the permapost ENS domain and app? Is it at all a thing or not at all?
Well, it's something that so one of the things we're working on the current sprint is an author page. So there would be a link maybe around this guy, and you click on him, and then you see all the posts that he's making. So that should be done within a week. That will basically turn permapost into a blog. You can use it as a blog.
That's so nifty, yeah.
Yeah, and so once we do that, the URL will be something like permapost.io / maybe this would be like author, and then it would just be some address that would look roughly like that. I think it would be a little smaller.
I just want to say on that, it only occurred to me this morning, I didn't mention it, but we don't need an index actually to make that work.
The shortener. Okay, let's not get into that now, because that's sort of will be context people can connect to.
Let's just go through as fast as we can. Yeah.
Yes, but anyway, so then you would get a URL permapost / author / then your address, and then that would give you all the posts from that author. And once we do that, a very, very easy move will be to say, okay, well, if we could do author this, then we can also do author / coinopt_logan.eth, and then that would load CoinOp Logan's thing. Or we could even, in theory, I guess, do like coinoplogan.permapost.io. That might be something we could do. And then once we move this, we've been having some issues with the ENS stuff, but if we do like this, I mean, that's quite possibly something we could do. This full version of it might take a bit more work. But let me just back up a little bit and say what is within easy reach is this right here. We'll do the author page first, that will be released, and then this is extremely simple to look this up. And then similarly, if you're looking at a post here, it might actually display the name of CoinOp Logan here, or whatever your ENS name is. So yeah.
Okay.
Now I was going to say something else about permapost at the end, but I don't. Oh yeah, our efforts to market it. So I'll stop sharing now and just talk briefly about that. For at least 2 or 3 months, there's been a consensus on the team that the point of permapost is not to make profit. There is no profit mechanism. The point of permapost is to get exposure and sort of demonstrate to the world what Foundry can do and bring a lot of attention to Foundry. And so now, with the completion of the last sprint, we are now ready to basically start throwing this link at people, trying to get as big of influencers as we can interested. A lot of people are talking about, censorship and freedom of speech and all that stuff. So today, Lo was actually going through Twitter and searching for like censorship and things like this and responding to people. So we're just going to be throwing a lot of darts at the wall there. We'll go for big people as well. I'd like to just see if there's any way we can email big people like, the Weinstein brothers, or Jordan Peterson, or Glenn Greenwald, or Balaji. I mean, there's lots of names that we might as well try to hit up. I said this, I think, in a previous demo day, but basically the way I see us positioned now, that again, I don't think other people are, I think what makes permapost unique, even though there are other apps that do functionally similar things, is that first of all, we're making it look good and simple. And we're also putting the ethical position down unabashedly as well. I think those two things combine to make us quite unique and more capable of getting press. And so, yeah, that's the plan with permapost. We're gonna try to get press in that way. And when we're building features into permapost, it's to that end. So for example, the author page will allow people to use it as a blog. And that is something that the reason that we're focused on that one in particular is because that's going to make it even easier to go to people and say, hey, this is a place, this is now a home for content creators that can't be deplatformed. Right now, Permapost is not quite a home because you don't really have a home page, but with the author page, you will. And the reason, so the reason we're building that is just to make this sell basically this cold pitch that we're trying to make easier. So yeah, that's all I got for Permapost.
Okay. Let me not make a stupid joke about that last phrasing, but okay, but that's very, very cool. I do think that I mean, just as you spoke now, I do think that the whole integration with Smoke Signal and the fact that first of all, I mean, one of the crazy things about Smoke Signal is it's truly cross-chain. Everything that implements a Geth version that we understand and the EVM, we can interact with the damn thing. That's pretty cool. And the other thing as well is that Smoke Signal does have in my view, a very clear path to being profitable. And if that is the comment system, and we just basically have the comment system and some sort of a that be more like content discovery and relevance of comment and that kind of thing. And included, how can I say, and then whatever overlap there is with what Nobody Jones is building, I do think that could actually go a very far distance. I mean, we're still exploring some of the other possibilities for the authors to actually be able to monetize stuff. So it's way too early to talk about that at a demo day, but I don't think that it's. Yeah, I agree. It's definitely for exposure, but I don't think it has to remain exposure. I do think we can have very sensible, real-world reasons for why people might spend money on it.
Yeah.
So
just sorry, go ahead. I just want to say 100%. I just want to agree strongly. Please continue.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and another thing that I really like about Permapost as it is now, although it's true about Smoke Signal as well, is that it is a zero marginal cost dApp. Like it costs exactly what it needs to cost, which is actually slightly negative for the user, since we currently give the guy a little bit of XDAI, right? And we have a faucet system that hands out enough money for people to post repeatedly and for a long period of time actually on Permapost. And have whatever guarantees there are on XDAI. Obviously, we can't afford to subsidize that kind of activity on Ethereum. We might still be able to do it on Matic, but it is really, really, really cheap. It's as cheap as it can be, to post on a very decentralized system. It's just, where do you want your guarantees to be? That's pretty damn cool. That it is actually, we're not scalping people here. Like the cost of running Ethereum is the cost of running Permapost at this point.
Right. And just on that, the sort of, I think a business advisor would question the move of building something totally without a profit margin. But I think two things. As I said earlier, I think the point of Permapost is actually to get exposure, and we can justify that, especially right now, because exposure would directly mean dying to the treasury. But secondly, I think you were applying this as if Permapost gets significant traction and exposure, there are many avenues we could explore that are right next door, basically, that we can easily monetize. I think a big thing is content creators want to monetize their stuff. And so there's many different sort of ways that we could make that easier for them, and also make that whole system undeplatformable, and then take a fee from that. So yeah. Okay, so we talk about the Leverly stuff.